I mean, I've been doing IT for well over 30 years now, and if you know what's going on behind the scene, then you become concerned. And if you can share that with friends and people who share your concerns, then why not? So I think a field that more and more will be concerned about, and the sooner we start to take privacy seriously, the better for all of us.
Avi Yemini for Rebel News in Melbourne, Australia. And today I've got something a little bit different, because as we're seeing what's happening around the world now and how the censorship is being ramped up, where governments and social media platforms are uniting in turning against people, companies, or even countries they don't like. So here today, I'm meeting up with my good friend Ralf. We've known each other for a few years now. Ralf, thank you for having us.
Well, thanks for coming.
I'm here today because, Ralf, you're doing something quite interesting. I'm just going to sit down next to you. I've noticed you're doing something interesting, and I've even, I think, at the end of it, organised with you to help out some of our viewers that are interested in what you're offering. But let's break it down from the beginning. What is it that you're doing?
Well, we all saw that since 9/11, governments encroach more and more on your privacy, and it's getting now to a stage that surveillance happens whether you know it or not. There is no judge involvement anymore. They can just go. It goes over to hosting in the States, can now be accessed through here without a warrant. It's getting to an absolute ridiculous stage.
Well, that's why a lot of people are using VPNs. Is that not good enough?
To an extent, but it depends on where the VPN is in its jurisdiction. It depends on where is the access point. It depends on where you store your data, how much is actually left on your machine if your machine is seized, etc., etc. So if we had to deal just with real terrorists and drug lords, fine, but the trouble is it now goes into social media activists, journalists. We see what happens now in Eastern Europe with all this misinformation. So to have free access and to not be punished for it, I think is essential now.
So what you're saying is just a VPN on its own might give you a false sense of security. What is the solution? What is your solution here?
Well, we have put together for friends initially, and now we want to bring it to market, a complete package. The essence is that everything that is important is hosted in Switzerland. So a big difference in Switzerland is that any access to your data, to your metadata, to the files and emails you have, has to go through a judge, and you have to be notified.
So you're telling me right now, even if I use a VPN, even if I use encrypted mail, if it's hosted not in Switzerland, if it's hosted in America or in Australia or in England or in any of the other countries that are hosting it, they can still get into it without notifying me?
To an extent, there's 3 countries, Iceland, Sweden and Switzerland, where privacy laws are quite good. US, UK, Australia, I think as far as privacy is concerned, forget it.
Okay, so what are you doing? Continue on.
Well, what we do is we have put together a package that uses an operating system that completely cuts out Microsoft and Mac. It completely cuts out Google. The operating system is called Zorin, and we use a Swiss provider for VPN, for email, for file storage, which is called Proton. And together that's SoPro, and that is the product SoPro computer solutions that we offer to interested friends at Rebel and anyone else who is concerned about privacy.
Well, I think most people watching this are watching it going, you've cut out big tech, you've got me on board. But it's bigger than that. It's about protecting privacy, protecting really your location, and being able to freely access that information and protecting your device itself. So even when you're using a VPN, when you're saving, this is what really got me, because I understood everything I've been through in the last couple of years with my reporting. One of my weak spots was the fact that if they came and raided my house and took my computer, well, then they had access to everything anyways. In your case, that won't work, will it?
No. As long as you don't store anything locally, there is nothing to find. They can take apart your machine, there's nothing there. It is how we set it up so there is no residue on the local machine if you do whatever you wish to visit and whatever you wish to read or post on the internet. That's the key. There is no residue on the local machine. Unless you deliberately say, okay, save that file here on my USB stick or on the internal hard drive, there is nothing. There is no history, there is no cache, nothing.
So the point is, if the police do raid your home, based on the way you set up the system, and they think, oh, you're getting the wrong information from the wrong place, we better check what he's got. They take your computer, they're going to find?
Nothing.
I like the sound of that. So for those people out there that want to take this next step, they can see what's happening. Where do they get it?
Well, you can find more information. You can find the online shop on the website zopro.com.au. We're a non-profit organization, and if you go there with the code REBEL5, we'll give you a 5% discount off the already pretty low prices of good refurbished or new hardware.
You're giving the discount on the hardware, but it comes as a package, correct?
It is a complete package, including setup, including delivery, so you just switch it on. We can set it up that it looks like your Windows machine, or we can set it up that it looks like a Mac machine. You feel comfortable with it. Easy.
Now, you have been my tech nerd for a few years now. That's not a judgment. It's actually quite good. So when people buy this that are taking their security seriously, especially now, I don't think there's a better time for people to really up their security, and you set it up for them, is there some sort of support? Do they learn how to use it? What happens there?
Well, we have a 30-minute intro by remote. We have a remote access if you want that. Otherwise, you can ring, you can chat, you can email. Otherwise, there is online help available, so it's not big science. If you're used to a Mac OS or if you're used to Windows, you'll be comfortable with it.
On behalf of everyone, thank you for starting this non-for-profit organisation that's actually taking on the fight for privacy, because one thing we know is we certainly can't rely on the government.
I think that's the point. There's always good intentions, but what follows from there is often quite nasty, so yes.
I'd have to argue with you on that one. I don't know if there's always good intentions. There's sometimes good intentions.
Okay. Leave it at that.
If you enjoyed this report and you like the work that this non-for-profit is doing, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, share it far and wide. Let your family and friends know that maybe you're not thinking about your online security and privacy when you really should be. Just look at what's happening around the world. And if you want to take advantage of what they're offering, head over to zopro.com.au and use that little promo code REBEL5 for a 5% discount. We're not getting any kickbacks. They're doing it 100% to support our viewers. REBEL5. Go and use it.